The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Kiwi.
Well, the Super Bowl Sunday American time is almost about to get underway, and there are people, I suppose, interested in this all around the whole world. But for some of us, it's also a bit of a mystery what the Super Bowl is about. So to demystify it for us is our American correspondent Vernon Andrews joining us in Christchurch today. Vernon.
Good morning, Wammo.
Nice to have you back on the show.
Oh, yeah, the demystification process is about to begin.
Yeah, so it gets all underway maybe in the next few hours, is that right?
Yeah, about 12 o'clock New Zealand time.
Okay. We hear about this thing Super Bowl Sunday, but I'm not sure we actually really know what goes on. What's it about?
Well, it's as they say, the second biggest party day in America. The first biggest is New Year's Eve, then it's Super Bowl Sunday. Everything stops. The country stops. As a matter of fact, New Orleans decided, because they're in the Super Bowl, and they're really the big story this year, New Orleans decided that it's canceling schools tomorrow. Churches aren't having any sessions in the evening. It's all about the game.
So it's like our Rugby World Cup.
Let's see, like the Rugby World Cup final, as they would say, on steroids.
Right. Okay. And of course, it's gridiron or footy. What's the name that every man would call this game?
We call it football.
Football. Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to say one thing. I know the Kiwi phrase as well. They wear pads. They're soft. There's too many commercials. 2/3 true. They do wear pads, and there are a lot of commercials, but they are hard as nails, folks, and most people are scared to play football at the level that they play. But I will say that the commercials are the fun part of the Super Bowl, believe it or not, because people put their huge budgets for the year into one ad. They'll spend millions. I think it may be up to $4 million per 30 seconds now. So Apple Computer gambled its future on a big ad during the Super Bowl and took off right after that.
It almost feels like just watching on. It feels like the ads are almost taking over from the game itself, and people actually tune in to see the ads as opposed to the game.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. It's like saying Kiwis go to a barbecue for the food instead of the beer. No. The beer is the king. And in that sense, the game is still the king. If they said, we're not going to show you the game this year, we're just going to show you ads, there'll be riots in the street.
Yeah, but these ads are big productions into themselves.
Yeah, they are, and people look forward to the ads. And the ads are designed because everyone gets up, everyone talks during the Super Bowl and drinks and goes to the bathroom. So the ads began to become designed to really capture the attention and capture the imagination. And pretty soon people realize, hey, wait a minute, we've got, hundreds of millions of people watching this game. Let's go for it. Let's put all our marbles into eggs in one basket and just go for it, put out the best ad we can, and gamble our future.
How are you going to be celebrating the Super Bowl today?
Well, I usually have a policy because I study sport, and I write about what people do when they celebrate, or if they taunt, or all those things, or Skype during the game.
Yeah.
So I started to not want to be around people, just sit there with a notepad and just watch the game and have a little quiet time. And eventually I realized the Super Bowl is about community. That's what it is. It's about community. And so you have to get together with people. You have to sit around, catch up, comment on the game, comment on the commercials. Now, here in New Zealand, you don't get the commercials.
Now, that's disappointing.
Yeah, all you get are the promos for ESPN, which makes the Super Bowl even, I can understand now Kiwis being upset about it, but you have to watch the game.
Because I guess those advertisers are paid for the American audience and not the worldwide audience. Right,
and so I guess the idea is, well, if we're not getting any money for these ads over here in New Zealand, for running, we're not going to show them. This
is interesting. I've just seen a piece of news come through from the Google CEO tweeted yesterday that he's telling everyone to look out for the ads. So Google are advertising, and I think this is a first for them.
Well, I would agree. I don't recall ever seeing a Google ad. Well, their ad will be guaranteed to make a huge splash.
Yeah.
It'll be fun, but it'll be fun watching it with New Zealanders who actually know about American football, who love American football, and who get into it so much they prepare ribs, and they got the beer lined up, of course, and they got burgers, they got everything else, and they got about 15 people coming by who really understand and like U.S. football. This would be like the U.S. getting together for a Rugby World Cup.
Yeah. No doubt there will be something even going on at the embassy in Wellington.
Oh yeah. It's again, everything stops in the U.S.
Yeah.
Everything stops. You don't have any meetings. You wouldn't say to someone, hey, we're going to get together and play golf on Super. No.
I suppose.
Or even church lets out a little bit early, too. So it's all systems go. So here, I remember someone saying to me my first Monday here, someone saying, hey, we have a meeting on Friday. We're going to meet on Monday to continue the meeting. And I said, well, it's Super Bowl Sunday. And she said, is that a football game? I said, yes. She said, well, can you record and watch it later?
No.
And I sat there twitching like, record it? What the hell? What kind of planet is this? And I realized that I was in a different country. And I said, you know what, you guys can have your meeting. It's a national holiday. I've got to watch the Super Bowl live.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to put that in rugby terms, I suppose.
It would be like the Rugby World Cup. But let me tell you, for people who aren't even interested in sport, this is why you need to watch this game. Because for the first time ever, the Saints are in the Super Bowl.
Right.
This is New Orleans, and it's Mardi Gras. And so all of a sudden, the streets are flooded with people who have tears because they went through a tremendous, apocalypse back in 2004 or 2005 with the floods and Katrina Gate and everything else. So the whole city was underwater, or 3/4 of the city. People died, and people are still recovering from that mentally.
Yeah.
To all of a sudden have your team, the Saints, who used to be called the Aints because they never won, and people wore bags on their heads. They've been around since the Super Bowl began in '66. Never been to the Super Bowl. They're in this year. The entire city is wearing their colors, school kids, everyone. So America's team, in a sense, the underdog, the team that was always bottom of the table, now has risen to the top, and now they're in the Super Bowl, and people are beside themselves.
That's a great story, and I guess that's the team you'll be backing.
Yes. I'm usually an AFC guy. There's two conferences: the old guard, which is the NFC, National Football League, and then the upstart league pushed and got to be able to join the NFL back in the early '60s. And so there's the AFC, the American Football Conference. And so I'm always an AFC fan because that's where my team, the Raiders, come from. But I would say that the little intrigue is that Archie Manning has been the all-time best quarterback for the Saints. And he's the father and the hero, and he had two little boys that grew up in the city, loved the little boys. Now one of those little boys is the best player in the NFL. He is Peyton Manning. He is the quarterback of the other team, the Colts, coming in to beat his former city. His father is gnashing his teeth because he's always wanted the Saints to win.
Yeah.
They finally get there, and now his son is playing against his home team.
There you go.
So there's a little bit of intrigue. He's also the announcer for the Saints, Archie Manning. So his son is out there. His son is the best player in the NFL, Peyton Manning, and it ought to be fun.
Is the quarterback the guy that can normally take it over the line?
No, the quarterback is the guy who gets the ball and he throws it, or he tosses someone to run. But he is the softest person on the field. Okay. I mean, he's hard as nails emotionally and everything else. But if he runs around, they're going to knock the snot out of him. So, so he tries not to get hit, and there are all kind of rules about not hitting the quarterback.
Yeah, that's one thing I do. I mean, I have no idea still how to play it or how it works, but I do like the idea that it's almost like chess. You know, there's a lot of strategy involved.
This is all you do when you watch the game is ask one question: are they going to run? Or are they going to pass? And that's what everyone is trying to guess. And if you can guess right, you can stop the other team. If you guess wrong, you will get punk slapped. I can't say the B word, can I, on the radio? No, have a beer, have a few beers, sit around.
Yeah.
If you want, record the game via TiVo or your MySky, and then watch it, and then rip through the commercials and watch that game. It will be the championship game between the Vikings and the Saints was the most watched game in championship history, leading up to the semifinal, leading to the Super Bowl, because of the story of the Saints.
Great. Vernon, thanks so much for demystifying, going through the process.
And I haven't even had a cup of coffee yet.
Yeah, I know. You've done very, very well.
All right. Hey, thanks, Wammo. You're still the man.
All
Best
right.
radio
Cheers.
announcer in the country. Keep going, brother.
See you, mate.
All right. Peace.
Vernon Andrews looking at the Super Bowl. It's now 3 minutes away from 8 here